Let's talk about more baseball.
It's time to spend some time with Rick.
Welcome back, part 3, picking up right where we left off. Aaron Judge has just hit a home run. Let's continue learning about baseball while we watch baseball, shall we? Stanton comes up, outside pitch, actually down the middle. He hits it to the right side. That's a base hit. So he'll go to first, and he'll stop at first. They'll throw the ball into second. He stays at first. The next batter comes up. Now, what's about to happen with Jazz, he's about to bunt. I want you to see the bunt. But in this situation, I have no idea what he's doing except maybe the third baseman. Remember, first, second, third. If the third baseman is way, way back, which is possible, he's a left-handed hitter. That means his tendency is to hit the ball toward the right side of the infield, which is first and second. So the third baseman could very well be shifted over toward the shortstop position, and Jazz sees an opportunity to push a bunt to this side and get a base hit out of it. Push bunt to the third base side. He was way over there. That's a great bunt. That's a base hit. He pushed the bunt because the third baseman was way over there. So he saw that opportunity and he just laid it down. Now it's first and second with 2 out. That's Goldschmidt. That's a little base hit over the second baseman. That'll send Jim Stanton to third. Oh, he scored. Sorry, he was on second base. So what happened here is the hit went over the second baseman's head. Stanton scored from second base to home plate on that single, and now it's first and second. And that's all that apparently happened. Now we go to the bottom of the first, which means the home team, the Braves, is hitting, and the Yankees, the visiting team, are on the mound. Bottom of the first. Little ground ball to the second baseman, threw him out at first. You notice on that play, I'm going to rewind it and show it to you again. The ground ball, meaning it landed, it went on the ground, it wasn't a fly ball. That ground ball went to the second baseman, and you saw the batter was running to first. The second baseman threw it to the first baseman, and all the first baseman had to do was catch the ball with his foot on the back. That's called a force out. You don't have to tag the runner with the glove and the ball together. You have to do that at other times in the game. Sometimes there's things called a force out, where all you have to do is put your foot on the bag and be holding the ball before the runner gets there. Other times you have to tag them out. It depends on what's going on in the game. When there's nobody on base and the hitter hits the ball and it's on the ground, they have to throw them out. Now, if the runner happened to go fast enough to get the first before the throw reached first, the runner's safe. And sometimes those plays are very, 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 very close. That's where the umpire comes in, and you watch the umpire to see what's the call. Is the runner safe or is the runner out? Here's the second part. Somebody asked me, it's very different than in cricket, because in cricket, a batter can hit a ball, and just because the batter hit the ball doesn't mean they have to run. In baseball, if you hit the ball into fair territory, you must run. You do not have the choice to just stand in the box. I mean, you could, you'll be out. The moment that ball is hit and it's going to be in fair territory, you need to hustle. And one of the things you'll hear baseball fans talk about when they watch players is if they don't hustle out of the box, the batter's box, a lot of fans don't like that. You're a Major League Baseball player. When you hit that ball, even if you think you're going to be out, you should be hustling. Example, you could hit the ball up in the air. Someone's going to catch it probably easily. But if they drop it and you were hustling, you could end up on second if you're hustling. So let me show you this again. It'll be a ground ball to the second baseman, Jazz Chisholm. He'll pick it up. And he'll throw it to first, out, foot on the base. Runner is out. Next batter. Straight up the middle, but look at that. That's where Volpe was playing. Same thing, threw him out at first. That play, I'll show it to you again. The infield is what they call perfectly positioned. So the infield can shift a little bit right to left depending upon who's hitting and where those people typically hit the ball. You remember when I was talking to you about what the infield looks like. You've got the bases, if you were looking at the diamond, right? You have the pitcher's mound, the plate, and then you have first base, second base, third base, home. The infielders are the first base, second base, shortstop, third. But they can kind of shift. Remember when Jazz Chisholm was up? The third baseman had shifted all the way over here because Jazz is a left-handed hitter and they thought he might hit it up the middle or to the right, and he tricked them and bunted up the third baseline. Just now, they had shifted again. Volpe, the shortstop, who would typically be right here, came more right up the middle because apparently this hitter has a tendency to hit up the middle. And sure enough, hit right up the middle. If Volpe had been over here and Jazz had been here, that could have been a base hit up the middle. It could have gone into the outfield and the runner would have made it to first base safely. But Volpe was perfectly positioned right up the middle, so he got the ball, threw him out. I'm going to show you the positioning again. Left-handed hitter, right up the middle, but there's Volpe right behind the second base bag, gets it to first before the runner gets there, runner's out. That's probably an out. Looks like Judge is coming in, fly ball, out. End of the inning, because that was 3 outs. Bottom of the second. The highlights won't show you every inning of the game. They're going to show you the highlights of the game. Reminder, there's 9 innings in a game. Top of the first, bottom of the first, top of the second, bottom of the second, top of the third, and so on. You never go past the 9th inning unless the game is tied after the bottom of the 9th. If the game is tied, 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, you go into what are called extra innings. We'll talk about that down the road. So they're showing us highlights right now. They didn't go to the top of the second because apparently nothing really happened at all on the top of the second. The Yankees probably went down 1-2-3, meaning 1 out, 2 out, 3 out. They didn't get on base. So now the Braves are batting in the bottom of the second. Let's see what happens. Strike 3. Now, it was a highlight. All you saw there was the 3rd strike. If we were watching the whole game together, which is really the next thing I want to do. The next thing I want to do is watch a baseball game, and it will probably be a Dodger-Padre game this weekend. I'm going to see if I can do that. Keep an eye on my Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, go over to Instagram because that's where I'm going to be talking about this, where I will go live on Instagram during the game, and I will talk about what's going on during the game and answer questions in real time as you guys ask them during the live. Because there are so many nuances that we'll never be able to cover in highlights. This is a great example. As a baseball player and a fan who's been watching this for decades, I know immediately when I look at the screen what was going on. What do I know? I know that it was a 3-ball, 2-strike count. See that? When the highlight started, it was 3 balls, 2 strikes, nobody on base, so that last pitch was a 3rd strike. So the minute the highlight started, my eyes went up there to see what was the game situation at the time. Might feel a little fast for you if you're not familiar with baseball. The best thing is going to be for those of you who are not familiar with baseball is, like I said in the first video, it feels like you may be drinking from a fire hose doing it with the highlights. We'll go through a game. I won't do that here because it's just not feasible to upload that length of a video. Plus, I can actually have the audio playing on Instagram. So we're going to go back and forth between here and Instagram for you who really, really want to learn that. And this weekend, at the time we're filming this, it's a very important weekend. We are now in the middle of August, which means every game is critically important. They're all important, but when you get into August and September, every game is important, especially when you're playing teams in your division, and beating them can determine whether or not you make the playoffs or not. Right now, the Dodgers and the Padres just passed the Dodgers and got back into first place by 1 game. They're going to play 3 games this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and that's going to be a big difference as to who wins the division. It could make the difference this weekend. It's going to be playoff level baseball. The Yankees are going to be playing as well, but their games, as important as they are, they're not going to be going head to head against a team that's leading in their division like the Dodgers will be doing. It's important to understand how many pitches, the different kinds of pitches, game situations, and that can only be done really while you're watching a game. And I wish I could just take you to a game and you could sit next to me. And the only other way to do that is to watch a game and do it on Instagram Live, which is what I'm going to do. Ask some questions here, and if I see a question that begs me to bring a new video in here to teach something new, there's so many dynamics to the game. There's probably 50 videos I could do in a row, and I very well might. I'm going to stop with the highlights right now because there's so much that happens so fast. I don't want you to get lost, and I want to go step by step, discipline by discipline, and I'd like to do that as organically as possible. Maybe go to the park with Micah and cover a couple of things there. Do one solely on what a pitcher does, how that changes from moment to moment, what batters do, what umpires do, game situations and the manager decisions that they make. You're going to hear terminology in baseball, not just bunt, which you learned today, but there's something in baseball called a pickle. And that happens quite often. There's something in baseball called a balk, not a walk, something called a balk. There's a pickoff. Errors, you may know what those are. You'll understand what RBIs are. What's an ERA? What is WAR? We'll get there. But doing the highlights, it's going to be difficult, especially when you see something like that. You need to see a hole at bat to understand what's going on and understand the game before you can appreciate the highlights this way. I hope that makes sense. I hope this was a little bit educational for you as well. And again, if you're seeing this after, obviously, the weekend of the games between the Dodgers and the Padres, please go over to my Instagram because I will regularly be going over there to talk baseball stuff. I'll still put videos up here for educational purposes for those of you who want it, you cricket fans who want to learn baseball. And yes, as we get closer to more cricket stuff like the T20 that's coming up with India and then obviously the T20 World Cup, I'll be back over here talking about that stuff. But that's going to stop here for now. Vive la baseball, vive la cricket, go Yankees, go Dodgers, and talk to you later. Bye.